Good evening, everyone, or good morning, or good afternoon, whatever it is in your part of the world. Yeah, had a few people in here earlier. It looks like they all came back. Hello, Gandalf. Hello, Joanne. Hello, Ace. Hello, Demoose. Hello, Katie. Maybe that's all we got in here right now. Well, welcome in, everyone. The fall's definitely here now. I've got my heat on. See, last night, I don't think I had it on last night, but I've had it on Monday night. Yeah, had on Monday night. Then last night got away with not having it on, and I've already got it on tonight. A lot of it depends on how warm it gets during the day. If it warms up good during the day, it'll stay warm a little longer in here at night. Today it actually got too warm in here. I had the AC on for an hour or two. Other than that, made it so I had to turn the heat on earlier. It's been getting pretty chilly at night. Getting down to about 45 most nights. I've got the heat set at 60 in the big house. And then when I go over there, I usually turn it up to 65. I'm usually not over there first thing in the morning. By the time I get over there late morning, early afternoon, it's usually up around 63, 64 in there. Yeah, it's going to be a lot more energy efficient than this is. I'm not sure about the insulation in the walls. Someone would just ask me the other day if I knew whether or not there's any insulation in the walls. I don't know if there is, being an older house, but I do know the walls are 7 inches thick, and 3 inches of that is solid wood. There's 2 inches of wood on the outside, and that's from 2 layers of wood siding. On the inside, there's 1 inch of solid wood on the inside. So that right there alone is quite a bit of insulation. I'm just seeing if I'm missing anything here and who else might have come in. Hello, Anne. Hello, Reverend Joe. Let's see what the temperature is here. Well, looks like someone beat me to it, so did their weather instead of mine. Hello, Tony. Yeah, I wish Nightbot could multitask. Make it so much easier. Hello, Sam. There we go, 54. Hello, Bobby. Yeah, I haven't really done much the last couple days. I'm not sick, but just been feeling off. Been tired. Hopefully tomorrow I can start getting some stuff done. I had some deliveries come in. My lift chair came yesterday, so I got to get that over to the house, get that put together. Now I got to get my fire alarm put together, get the smoke detectors put up, and get everything connected and stuff. And with the base that come through that also will accept carbon monoxide detectors. But right now I don't have any gas, so I didn't get any carbon monoxide detectors yet. It's got thermometers that will go with the base. And that base will give me all the information on my phone. So if I'm out somewheres and a smoke detector is activated, if the temperature goes outside of a set range or anything like that, I'll be notified. I got the temperature, as temperature and humidity both built into it. I got one of them for the house, one for the well house, and one for the chicken coop. So I'll be able to keep track of the temperatures, and then if it goes out of the set range in any of them, then I'll get a notification on my phone. So I thought that was pretty good. They also have a sensor you can put in your mailbox, so you know when the mailbox door's been open, but I'm not going to get that one. And they also have a water sensor, which in theory is good, but I'm not going to get that because I don't see where it's really practical. I don't know if you would sit the sensor right on the floor, like in the middle of the bathroom floor, and then you would know if a pipe broke in there or something. And I just don't know how practical that would be. If you maybe had a basement and put it down near the bottom, you could tell if there's a couple inches of water in your basement. But other than that, I just don't see how that one would work for me. Let's see. Get back up here so I can try not to miss anyone. Hello, Barbara. Hello, Judy. Um, hello, Tim. Joanne said hello to all the kitties. Yeah, the kitties have been keeping things interesting. Tell you about that in a minute. Yeah, I am too, Judy. I just wish last couple days, well, actually today, because it didn't come until, let me see, 5:30 or so yesterday, because it was in the middle of Gary's live, because I actually left his live to go outside because my care was here. But if I felt a little better today, my intention was to get that in the house and get it put together. It came in 3 boxes. The heaviest is 79 pounds. One of them is 47 pounds, I think it is. And the other one's 27. So altogether, it carries about 150 pounds. Yes, and I was very impressed with it. I was just looking for interconnecting smoke detectors. And then I came across this thing here. And 5 smoke detectors, and the base was $97. So I didn't figure that was bad. So I got that. Then got a 3-pack of thermometers with it. Hello, J&B. Well, yeah, I'm going to be heading to bed shortly, too. I probably won't be on here 2 hours like I am quite often. I'm going to try to get a little sleep tonight, so maybe tomorrow I'll feel a little better. And then I got fire extinguishers too. So I'll get them put up. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Barbara. In the basement, I could understand the water sensor. But as far as my setup, you obviously can't have the sensor laying in the middle of the floor. So I'm thinking maybe like laying in the cabinet under the kitchen sink. If the sink started leaking, most of the water's in the bathroom. Shower, toilet, sink, and washer, plus the water heater's in there. So that'd be the most likely place if there was a water issue, but I can't just sit the sensor in the middle of the floor. So we'll just hope I don't have a water problem. Yep, the water heater's right in the corner of the bathroom. Oh, your autocorrect will get you every time, Katie. Yeah, I might look into the sensors a little bit more because I can always add them on later. Hello, Ed. I'll have to use my hand truck to get the care over there. I wish that this was one of those deliveries that they accidentally delivered over there. Because with FedEx and UPS, it's a different driver every time. Actually, this driver here, she's been here quite a few times. And by the time I could actually get outside, because that takes me a couple minutes, she was already starting to unload it. If she hadn't started to unload it already, I was going to ask her, oh, can you just back up a little bit further and get over towards that house? But I can get it on my hand truck, get it over there. I'll just make 3 trips out of that. Yep, we're all correct. Change your word there, Katie. They're having a lot of fun with that now. Yes, Barbara, I actually have thought about getting a couple fire blankets also. Hello, Jim Rockford. Yeah, we're getting much cooler weather here. It's supposed to start raining Friday. The only good thing when we start getting the rain is to keep the daytime temperature down, but the nighttime temperature is going to stay a little bit higher. Yeah, last week we were mid to upper 80s during the day. Well, this week it's been cooler. There's been a day or two this week that was in the upper 60s. We had some 70s. Yes, Joanne. Hand trucks are handy. I'd never be without one. And I also bought some ratcheting straps so I can strap stuff to my hand truck also. I haven't used them yet. I just got them last week. Texarkana. You know, I've heard of Texarkana my whole life. Now that I'm so close to it, I do want to go there someday and visit it. Just because it's such a famous place. Those 50 plus years I lived in New York, I had always heard about Texarkana. Yeah, it's be a similar mileage for me, Bobby. I think I might be a little bit closer. Well, I know the one thing Texarkana is famous for is part of it's in Texas, part of it's in Arkansas. I I don't really recall why I've heard so much about it, but I just know I've heard people talking about it forever. Oh yeah, I had a hand truck when I was in New York because my camper was about 300 feet back in off the road. And actually, my packages would be delivered to the landlord's trailer. So I actually had to go up to his front door. Then it was uphill to the road, go down the road, not a long ways, but 50, 75 feet, and then 300 feet back to my camper. So, yeah, I got a lot of use for that. But then, unfortunately, I had to leave it behind. We didn't have room to bring it. Then when I got down here, I bought another one. Wasn't as cheap as my first one. First one I got at Tractor Supply for $49.99. It was on sale. I grabbed it. This one I got now, I think I had to pay right around $100 for that. But still, it was well worth it. Yep, I'd never be without one, Katie. Hello, Candace. Okay, Jim Rockford. That makes sense. I love Smokey and the Bandit. Hello, Emily. Yep, I lived in New York for, let me see, 51 years, almost 52. I turned 52 2 months after I left there. Well, there's a lot of reasons I wanted to leave. Well, being disabled, the snow is terrible on me. There's no way I could get out there and shovel 2, 3 feet of snow, and then trying to push my bicycle through it. It just wasn't a good thing. And then the cold. I cannot stand the cold. The cold even bothers me here. And we don't even get cold weather here. We only get a week or two winter here. I know some think anytime it drops below 60 degrees, it's winter, but since I'm from New York, I know what winter is, and it just doesn't happen here. But still, it does bother me when it gets cold. I think you asked what part. Um, I was in Oswego County, just east of Lake Ontario. We're at the base of Tug Hill. So we got a lot of lake effect snow. We average about 200 inches a year. And getting back to why I wanted to leave, weather was a major factor. And another thing is the regulations in New York. The last 5 years I was there, I lived in a camper, which is illegal. Just had to try to stay under the radar. Even though the code enforcement officer was pretty sure he knew what was going on, the landlord was covering for me. And then there was a neighbor next door. And that's why I left so suddenly. Neighbor next door took pictures of me because he was a real jerk. He took pictures of me going in and out of the camper, pictures of my generator with the cord running into the camper, pictures of my washer and dryer. So there was no disputing that someone was living in that camper. And you need a building permit for anything you want to do. It's just bad. I originally had some property in Tennessee that I was doing an owner finance on. But then once I became disabled, I wasn't able to keep up the payments on that property. And the owner ended up taking it back. And then Brett and Deborah, Tiny Farm Nuggets, they said, hey, we got the wheel that was given to us when our house burnt. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but if you want to come down and stay in that until you can find someplace permanent, you're more than welcome to. So that's what I did. And that was the best move I ever made. Hello, Reverend Dream. Yeah, I know my first hand truck came from Tractor Supply. This one, I'm pretty sure I ordered it online from somewhere. I'm pretty sure it was Walmart. Yep, Emily. Took me quite a few years to smarten up. Well, I would never have left the state when my mom was still alive. She died in 2017. So, at any point up until then, I would not have left. Yeah, Emily. You're saying it's pretty bad, and where you are gets nothing compared to where I was. Yep. Cold sure does suck. And you're closer to the ocean than I was, so you're probably getting more of that damp cold. It was bad enough where I was. Oh, yeah, Joanne. I'll take 100 degrees over zero any day. Yep, sure is, Emily. Yep, Joanne's smart enough to not go that far north. You're giving out your age, Gandalf. Well, Katie, it's just a thing of control. And I do have to say, it's not the state that has the regulations against campers. It's the individual towns. But almost all the towns have the same regulations with campers. And a lot of them in rural areas, they will restrict what types of animals you can have, how many you can have. Yeah, Emily, that guy is a real jerk. And then when he found out that I was leaving, he came over just as nice as he could be. And I'm thinking to myself, I know everything you did because the code enforcement officer told the landlord who gave him the pictures. So I knew who it was. And another thing, a lot of the towns don't like with campers is they can't tax them because it's not a permanent structure. And according to state law, if it's not a permanent structure, it can't be taxed. And property taxes are very, very high in New York. Back in 2016, I had a small 3-bedroom house. It was a 24 by 32 garage that I had converted into a house. And about an acre and 2/3, acre and 3/4. No, it wasn't 3/4. It was a little over an acre and a half, anyways. And a lot of it was very poor ground too. It wasn't an ideal piece of land. The assessment on that was $39,000 because it wasn't that great of a place, and the taxes on a place assessed at $39,000 was $1,400 a year. And like I said, that was 9 years ago. It'd be even more than that today. Yep, Emily, he had nothing better to do. It, it's throughout the family. It's a very big family in that area. Some of them are very nice, just nice as they can be, and other ones are just complete jerks and always trying to cause problems. They sure do, Joanne. Yes, Candace, I love it here. I love the house. It's a beautiful house. I like the property. The only thing I would change here is I wish I could pick up this property and move it a mile back into the woods at the end of a dead end dirt road. But it's a state highway, but it's not terribly busy. So that's one good thing. Yeah, that's right, Tim. Everyone in here is great. I only allow good people in my lives. And this is Candy Kane for any of you that don't know. She sleeps through me every night now. But I told her she's got to start letting Oreo sleep with me. Because before she moved in here, Oreo was with me every night. And he wouldn't chase anyone away if another cat wanted to come sleep with me. But she chases him away. Which makes no sense. She's very tiny for her age. I think she's going to be a very, very small cat. But boy, is she feisty. And she will chase off Oreo, who's my biggest cat. Yeah, I hope we don't get the snow we got last winter. All I shoveled last winter was my ramp. Then after a few days, the landlord came and shoveled my driveway. And I know one of the old timers, he's in his 70s, that lives in the area. He's lived here his whole life. And he said that was the most snow he's ever seen here. So hopefully we won't get that again. Hey, Gandalf, I've been admitting that I'm old since late 40s. I haven't been able to work since I was 49. So that shows how old I am. Yes, Candace. I have one adopted son. I adopted him when he was 12 years old. Yep, in some ways, Joanne. Yeah, that's what I mean, Bobby. When anyone complains about the taxes around here, I tell them, go to New York and you'll never complain about taxes here again. And like sales tax, everyone says how high the sales tax is. For what I have delivered here to my house, it's 8.5%. Then in Waldron, there's a city tax. So I think it's 9.25 there, if I'm not mistaken. 9.25 or 9.75. But almost everywhere is in New York is 8%. Some places are higher. Yep, Reverend Joe. I signed up for AARP at 50. I turned 50 on July 31st, and I didn't actually sign up for it until September because I didn't have the money for it. But as soon as I got the money, I did. I can't remember where I got discounts. Oh, I remember. On my ExxonMobil rewards, which the closest ExxonMobil station is probably hour, maybe over an hour from here. And it's in a direction I never go to. So I don't use that anymore. But you get extra reward points if you have your AAR membership connected to your ExxonMobil rewards. Yes. Drew being right next door, that does help. Because he's always telling me, you need anything, just let me know. And he's came and rescued me a time or two. One time, had an issue with my car. And it just kept getting worse. I couldn't even keep it running. But fortunately, by the time I got that bad, I was in the driveway when that happened. And the check engine light was on, so I asked him if he had a tester. I bought one, so I've got one now. Well, he didn't know where his was, so he went to O'Reilly's and borrowed one. Brought it here, hooked it up. Said, you got a lot of code showing here. Popped the hood, saw what it was right off. My air intake hose was split right in two. So he said he could try to do a temporary fix on it. I might be able to make the water in back, but it wouldn't last any longer than that. And I told him, don't bother. I'll get buy a new one. Because they're only like $20. And I was going to need a new one anyways. So I ordered it. Cheapest place I could find it was Amazon. I ordered it. It was here, I don't know, next day, day after. Put it on. Car been run beautiful ever since. Yeah, I read something about that, Katie. That you actually don't have to be 50, but. Hello, Shawnee. Well, you know, Bobby, it wouldn't necessarily have to be as much of a incline as this is, but I do kind of like being on the side of a hill because the water just runs off. I don't have to deal with any standing water. Like I know a lot of property around here is just too flat. And then when we get some of our 3, 4, 5 inch rainfalls, then they get to have standing water. And I don't have that. So I do like that. Hello, DJ. I hope I haven't missed anything in chat here. But I've been going through it kind of fast. I'm trying to catch anything, any comments for me. Yeah, that's no fun, Bobby. Yeah, she didn't come and shovel my driveway for me last winter, I would have been snowed in for at least a week. Hello, Eddie. You got that right, Emily. By the time you figure in all taxes, property tax, sales tax, tax on this, tax on that, I can't remember what it is. But New York is, I think it's the third highest in the country. It's right up there. Well, you know, Eddie, that can be taken two different ways. You can be asking Bobby, why haven't you called me? Or you can just be asking in general, why haven't you called me Bobby? Well, Eddie, I can call you Bobby if you want. I gotta watch that video, Joanne. I saw the thumbnail for that when I was going into YouTube tonight to make sure everything was set for my live. I'm going back to watch that. Hello, Tales Told in the Dark. Yeah, what I really like, Candace, is the ones that where Amazon brings it to the post office and then the mail carrier delivers it. Because we got very good mail carriers out of Waldron. Because Amazon isn't doing door-to-door deliveries here yet. Maybe they never will. I don't know. Where I lived in New York, when Amazon was delivering to the post office and the mail carrier bringing it, we had all kinds of problems. Then when Amazon started doing the door-to-door deliveries, it was great. And Amazon can move packages faster than anyone. One thing I have noticed with all of them, USPS, UPS, and FedEx, it seems to be better last few months. But at one time, anything that went through Memphis would sit there for 2 3 days. I had one package sitting in Memphis for 5 days. I don't know if they had a worker shortage in Memphis at that time and just no one could get the help they needed or what. Because it seemed like every delivery service, if they had anything go through Memphis, it would just stall there. But lately, it's been a lot better. The FedEx drivers that deliver here, they seem to be very good. But I know when I was in New York, some of the FedEx drivers were not good at all. Didn't have a good attitude, and they weren't good at doing their job either. But the ones around here, they seem to be good. Like the one that delivered my lift chair. She stood there, talked to me for probably 2 or 3 minutes. Very friendly girl. Yeah, I think that's what I've read, Emily. It's third highest. Oh, I must have said something funny. Arlene's laughing. What I hate about getting too far behind in checks, then I can't remember what people's talking about. Oh, I put stuff in my cart and leave it there. Then I keep getting these darn notifications. You forgot to check out. No, I didn't forget to check out. I just wanted to keep track of it because that's something I might want to buy in the future. Judy, I can't believe your mailman would actually have the nerve to do that. I wouldn't want to do anything to upset you. I can see you going out there and dragging him around with a Jeep and beating him up. I haven't had possum pie, but I am going to make it, Candace. And I'm a little upset at myself because last Friday was Possum Day. I forgot all about it. I didn't think of that until just a couple days ago. Yeah, I'm definitely making a possum pie. Well, Gandalf, I'm not going to try to tell you what's in possum pie because I I can't remember exactly how it's made. Well, now Joanne's asking. No, Judy, it is a real thing. No, it has nothing to do with possums at all. Nope. Let me look it up. Okay. Possum pie is an iconic American pie that is rarely seen outside of Arkansas. The pie is made with several layers, with the most common being layers of vanilla pudding, cream cheese, chocolate custard, and or sour cream. There are many different combinations making use of alternating layers of cream cheese and puddings topped with whipped cream. The pecan shortbread crust is different from other icebox pies. Possum pie earned its name because the pie plays possum by hiding all the layers in its ingredients under a thick whipped cream topping. The dessert does not actually contain possum meat. So there you go. That's from Wikipedia. You never heard of Ace? Thank you for the super chat, Ace. I appreciate that. Yeah, it does sound really good. I'm definitely going to make that at some point. And I never knew Possum Day was an actual thing. I thought it was just on Beverly Hillbillies, but there actually is a Possum Day. This year, it was last Friday, October 17th, but I can't remember. I got to look it up. I don't know if it's October 17th every year or if it's the third Friday in October. I think it's the 17th every year. But I got to look that up. Well, you better figure that out, Judy. You know, all this talk about pies, I'm going to have some pie tomorrow. At the Rock Cafe, they have a bunch of different flavored fried pies there. Sometimes they're on the buffet, but they sell them separately also. And you got a better selection of flavors if you buy one separately. I think I'm going to have some. Last blackberry pie I had was one of those little box convenience store pies that you can eat room temperature or throw in the microwave for 30 seconds. I forgot what brand it was, but that was actually pretty darn good. No, Jody, all this talk about pies, and I haven't had any pie in a long time. I need some. You're there, and we got to change the subject real quick. I've never heard of Marionberry. Hope I don't fall asleep. Oh, I forgot to mention, pinned at the top is Sales Camper Life's GoFundMe. He's trying to raise some money so he can get his camper down here to Arkansas. I told him I'd share that out for him. Any of you on Sunday, you know, he's my guest on Sunday. And he's gonna have his camper here for a while until he finds some property and help me out with some stuff around here. So I'm actually looking forward to getting him here. Hello, Steve. Yep, Candace. I don't know which cat you mean. I don't know if you can see this one. Candy Cane's here. And we got Oreo back here. And then actually right there, right next to the camera is Dream. I like that, Katie. Everything in moderation. I'm going to moderate a slice of pie right into my mouth. Oh, okay, Barbara. I was wondering if it was a West Coast thing. Yeah, technically, Judy, the experts will say a litter box for each cat and then one additional one. But I'm not going to have 15 litter boxes. I actually have 6 litter boxes. I will probably use all 6 of them when I had more than that. But anyways, I'll probably use 6 of them when I get moved into the big house. Have them in different rooms and in the catio. Right now, I'm only using 3. I've got 8. Yeah, I was talking with that quite a bit over the past couple days. That's one thing I haven't talked about. Let me see if I remember who went. See, Monday. Can't remember who I took. Let me see. Monday was Daisy and Felix. And they went for their shots, and Daisy had her blood work. Since Felix is only 7 months old, he didn't get any blood work yet. Daisy's blood work was perfect, so that was good. And then yesterday I took Domino and Dixie. Dixie had already had her blood work done, so she had to get her vaccinations. And then Domino had to get her vaccinations, and she got her blood work done, and her blood work was perfect. That there was a little over $750 for those 2 visits. And now, November 7th, I believe it is, Felix is going back for his second vaccinations. Then he'll be done. And Sweetie will go for her 3rd vaccination, and then she'll be fully vaccinated. And I found out adult cats only need the 1 shot. Up to 6 months, they need 3. And then between 6 months and a year, they need 2 shots. Their immune system changes over time. So the kittens need more shots to be fully protected. And as they get older, they need less. And then the adult cats only need 1. And that's the same protection that the kittens get from 3. And then they get a yearly booster. I never knew that. Have a good night, Candace. A lot of my money goes towards vet bills, Judy. And I'm spending a lot more on preventative stuff now. So hopefully cats will live longer and I can catch anything before it gets bad. Should be able to, Tim, if there's a place you can order it from. DoorDash is available almost everywhere. And also to help out with vet bills, I got insurance for them now. A lot of stuff it won't cover because I didn't put in the routine stuff. It won't cover their annual vaccinations and their blood work and stuff like that. Because in order to get that coverage, that's very expensive. And the amount that they will cover is just a few dollars more than the premiums if you get everything available. So I figure that's really not worth it. The only advantage to it is you're paying so much a month. So when you did have a big bill, you could submit it and get it reimbursed. But what I got it for, I put a high deductible on it to keep the premium down. I got it for emergencies and if someone has to go see a specialist, something like that. For the 14 cats and the 3 dogs, it's $137 a month. I have $1,000 deductible, but once that's met, it will pay 90%. And I got some examples like Batman. I didn't think he'd die that quick because he went very quick. But he was due to go back for a recheck on his blood in 2 weeks. Well, I was going to see about getting him to a specialist or getting some more advanced care for him or whatever. And because he'd already been diagnosed, I couldn't get the insurance and have it covered. But if I had the insurance ahead, then they would have covered that. And then with Superman, 2 days before he died, he was at his regular vet, and she thought he might have cancer. And we actually were going to work on a referral to a specialist the following week. But then he didn't make it that long. And again, because it was pre-existing, I would have had to have the insurance before he got sick. But just get that available if something comes up. And it's unlimited. You could choose how much you'll cover, but it was just pennies more to get unlimited. I think to go from a $5,000 cap to $10,000 was like $1 a month more, and then go from 10,000 to unlimited was 20 or 30 cents a month. So that's why I went with the unlimited. Yeah, Katie, that's a long ways to walk this time of the night. I don't know what kind of neighborhood it is, but anywhere in a city, I wouldn't want to be out there walking around this hour of the night. Yep, you never know, Jody. Now, I was telling the vet yesterday, because I stopped in and asked them about it, because I forgot to talk to them about it when I was there Monday. So I stopped in Monday afternoon, and they weren't real familiar. The receptionist said she's only had one person that needed additional information because they had pet insurance. And then when I was telling the vet about it yesterday, she said that is a really good deal. And she said she was going to give me the additional paperwork for yesterday's visit, but I told her that wasn't covered because I didn't get the routine stuff. And she said, anytime anything is going to be covered, just let us know and we'll give you the additional notes that you're going to need for that. Yep. I know what you mean there, Judy. But I figure something could very easily end up costing $5,000-$10,000. And the insurance is only $1,600 a year, so good advice there, Joanne. Yeah, hopefully if I turn a claim in, they will pay, Barbara. because I did months of research on them. There is some negative reviews on them, but it kind of sounded like the people were upset because they turned a claim in for something that wasn't covered. Welcome back, Gandalf. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to walk to the store from here for any reason. It's about 12 miles. Oh. Well, haven't talked about the dogs yet. Yesterday, no dogs. But heard something under the house. Called them multiple times. Would not come out. Oh, the food dish was empty. All the food I gave him Monday night was gone, so filled the dish up again. This afternoon, just a little bit of food was gone. Like maybe a quarter cup. Don't even know if it was that much. Like just one or two mouthfuls. Still, don't see any dogs, won't come when I call them. Again, I hear noise under the house. When I go out on the porch multiple times, call them. Last time I went out, Buddy finally came out from underneath the house, came up. Why they're staying under the house, I don't know. But I haven't seen Honey or Goldie. And they didn't come out to eat today. But Goldie was under the house for 10 days a while back. Because I thought she had gotten out and took off. But other than that, they're doing good. Yep, that's the way it was with Superman, Judy. They gave an estimate of 1,200. And as it turned out, it was only 800. But they said he was too far gone to do anything. Is that common for baby Joanne? Because as far as Goldie staying under the house, that's very common for her. Honey, somewhat. But Buddy, that is completely out of character for him. Because usually, Buddy's right there on the porch, and as soon as I call him, he comes. But they're going to be losing the pork soon. Because I'm starting to make plans for the catio. In fact, I was doing some measuring and looking around yesterday and today. Because I got to make a few modifications. Like from the top down to the railings, 51.5 inches. So I got to add a few boards on there. So 48 inches of hardware cloth will reach. And I've got that figured out now, how I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to put a door on. That won't be a problem. Because I told him don't bother putting the screen door back on the front of the house. So I can cover the screen door with hardware cloth. And then that'll be my door. I got a lot to do next few days. Got to get my smoke detectors installed, fire extinguishers put up. Make a material list, what I need for the catio and what I need for the ramp for the chicken coop. But hopefully I'll be feeling better. Usually that's what happens. A couple of days I just don't quite feel right. And then I'm back to normal. So I think tomorrow I should be back to normal. As long as I don't stay on here all night. Because that was another thing. I stayed up late last night. The Reverend Dream was on. I ended up falling asleep before he was done. But I was awake till probably between 1:30 and 2. Yep, she probably was hunting, Joanne. Yeah, it's probably a good idea, Katie. Yeah, any of the windows in the house, if I'm gonna open them, they're gonna have hardware cloth on them. Because the screen, Won't keep a cat in, or a dog, or anything. Yeah, it should be too bad to do the catio. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to hold the harbor cloth up there while I fasten it, but I'll figure something out. And when I was over the big house today, and last night I heard it too, I heard something under the house hitting against the floor joists and stuff. So I knew the dogs were under there. And hopefully before Sunday's live, I'll be in the big house. No guarantee, but I would like to be. I'm going to have minimal stuff in there. And then it's looking like November 1st is when I'm going to get everyone together and get stuff moved in there. But once I get my lift chair in there, get that together, that's going to serve as a bed. And I'll take over, obviously, my laptop and my chargers and stuff. I'll take the microwave, my air fryer, some smaller stuff like that. I've got a mini fridge over there that I can deal with until I get my full size refrigerator over there. So it'll work out. Hello, Eunice. That's an idea. That's actually a pretty good idea, Eunice. Yep, has been a while, Ace. Definitely. Was there anything I missed? I said this wasn't going to be 2 hours tonight, but here we are at an hour and 42 minutes. And I still got to get my video finished up and get that out. The last 2 days, it's been very minimal that I've done. But like I said, I'm really hoping that tomorrow I'll be back to normal. Behave, girls. Dream and Fluffy are over there, and someone gets hissed. I think it was Dream. She doesn't seem to like anyone except her sisters or her brother around her. If you know she gets around her, she hisses at them. But she's getting a lot better. They all are. They still got a little bit farther to go, but they've come a long ways in a week. They are starting to mix in with the other cats pretty good. Lily's doing good, Judy. Becky's right over there on the footstool. Yep. I do the same thing sometimes, Eunice. I'll be in a live, don't say anything, don't plan on it, and then I want to comment on something so that everyone knows I'm there. What's the video about? It's going to be about the work the contractors did. The parks and the floor. I don't have video of them doing the work. But the porch, I have some when they had it tore apart. And then it's going to be after everything's put together. And then I'll probably explain a little bit about the catio. I'll add that in. Another thing I'm considering with the catio is building a frame and then stapling the hardware cloth on it and then setting the frame into place. That would just take a little bit more lumber to do it that way. Well, I'm going to figure out which way would be the easiest and do that. Well, I think maybe I better end this before I fall asleep. I need to get to bed. I'm tired. You woke up this morning, and this is after being up till almost 2. Woke up this morning 10 minutes after 6. And of course, couldn't go back to sleep. I did get a little bit of sleep this afternoon, but not a lot. I fell asleep a couple times, but between the two times, I probably didn't sleep more than half hour, 45 minutes. Well, sorry to hear that, Katie. But have a good night, everyone. Actually, I should. Where is it? I was gonna go to the participants, but I don't have the three dots up there. So I have to go through chat. Okay, have a good night, everyone. Tim, Emily, Eunice, Judy, Bobby, Gandalf, Arlene, Katie, Joanne. Hello, Teresa, and good night. Thank you, Arlene. Steve. I miss you not having live all the time, Steve. Well, unfortunately, I don't know if I can. I guess I can start watching Steve live and say hi to everyone and then fall asleep. Tony. Every time, Ace. Okay, I think I got everyone. Okay, have a good night, everyone.